Hello, sports fans. It's me, Sportsman Z, Bob Zolke. And I am doing a test stream. This is the first streaming that I have ever attempted. And so I'm just going to talk about general sports related stuff and see if there is, basically, I just want to see if this works and what it looks like to everybody that's out there. And then basically just talk a little sports while I'm getting going. So, with that having been said, I guess I'll talk a little bit about, we've got some Sunday football games in case you hadn't heard. The NFL has some games on Sunday, as they usually do during the football season. And what I am going to talk about is various teams that are involved in various games, but I have put up my I see Brendan Baker is watching. Nice. All right. So I guess this is working, and I'm glad to see that it is. So one of the things I want to do is I want to talk about some of these teams involved in these games that are coming up on Sunday. You got the Saints playing the Falcons, and the Saints they're without Breeze right now, and I think they're playing their I forget his name, Hill. I think is it Hill, the Swiss Army knife guy that can do a lot of different things. Good. I'm glad that it looks, yeah, all right. Nice to hear. So anyway, they're playing their jack of all trades and apparently master of none at quarterback, when they could be playing Jameis Winston at quarterback. And some people have said maybe the Saints would be better off playing Jameis Winston. Now, he does have a tendency to get picked off quite a bit, as he did when in his last full season, which was last year when he was with the Buccaneers. So he does have some risk, but I think he's a high risk, high reward type of guy, and maybe the Saints would be better off with him than with that Hill guy. I keep forgetting his name, but anyway. So we're going to have to see who the Saints play, whether Jameis Winston gets into. As Steeler fan 1933 has joined. Good to see. So I'm glad that the stream is working. This is the first time I've ever done it. As I've said, I was just jumped on and wanted to try it. I got some streaming software from Streamlabs, and I wanted to try it out. I had set it up earlier this afternoon and wanted to make sure that it worked. So, but anyway, we're getting back to talking about the NFL games coming up this Sunday, and the Saints versus the Falcons. Now, the Falcons have played a lot better since they fired their coach Dan Quinn, who started the season, and they've been playing a lot better the last few weeks. I think they've hired I want to say he was a former Colts or Lions head coach, Romeo Crennel, as their head coach, but he's got them playing well. He's got the Falcons playing well, and if the Saints play Hill at quarterback this Sunday, we'll see how good he really is, I think, because last Sunday the Saints played the Broncos, and the Broncos had a practice squad wide receiver at quarterback, and they've also had injuries and COVID-related sicknesses to their team and to their defense. So this might be a real test for the Saints playing in Atlanta. So the next game we got the Browns against the Titans. And the Titans, of course, they've got Derrick Henry. I think that's his name, Derrick Henry. And he seems to be unstoppable. The Titans have been playing really good football lately. The Browns, as I've said in my video, and I've put my picks up, so if you haven't had a chance to see the picks video for Week 13, I suggest you go and check it out. But the Browns have a tendency to beat the teams they should beat and lose to the teams that they should lose to. But what they need to concentrate on and what they need to get better at if they're going to take that next step is that they need to beat the teams that they should lose to, at least occasionally. Especially when you get into the playoffs, you're going to go up against teams that, on paper, are better teams than you. But you want to make sure that you can play against, you can play well against them and even potentially beat them. So, so that's nice. We've got 4 people on the chat. That looks good. All right, Again, this is just a test. This is the first time I've ever done this. I've ever live streamed, and I am loving that it looks like it's working really well. So, now you got the Lions and the Bears. The Lions at the Bears, and if you know me, and I've said it many times, I'm a Bears fan, but I just don't. I think the Bears would have to have they would have to have a lot go right for them to beat the Lions. Well, all right, on most days. I mean, the Lions do have a tendency to be snake bitten quite a bit. They have the talent. The Lions definitely have the talent to be a lot better than they are. The Bears, though, don't have a great offense. Even on paper, they don't have a great offense. And Trubisky will probably still be a quarterback on Sunday. And last Sunday against the, we got 1777 memorabilia on. Hello. So last Sunday against the Packers, the Bears were terrible. And they were terrible on both sides of the ball. You had the offense. Now, the offense did score 25 points, but Trubisky did not look that good. He was trying to get the rust off, and he wasn't all that. Well, yes, he did play well against the Lions the first time. That is true, but we'll see what happens this time. Now, he has had a week to play, so maybe with a week to play and also with another week of practice as the top quarterback for the Bears, maybe that'll make a difference. Maybe that'll help quite a bit, and maybe they will beat the Lions. But I think the Lions have the talent to beat them if they play the way that they're capable of playing with the personnel that they have. Now, the Bears have a good defense, although that didn't really seem to show up on Sunday against the Packers. Sunday night against the Packers. So we're going to have to see what happens in that game. I got the picks video up, so you can go and see who I think is going to win that game, but we'll find out tomorrow for sure. You got the Bengals against the Dolphins. Now, the Bengals, and I said this in the video too, it's really a shame that Joe Burrow got injured because I really would have loved to have seen Joe Burrow play an entire season. In fact, all of the new rookie quarterbacks, Burrow, Tua, and Herbert, have all played exemplary football for guys that are playing their first set of downs in the NFL. So But anyway, I would have, it's really a shame that Burrow got injured a couple weeks. I think it was a couple weeks ago, a week or two ago, against the Washington football team, and that we won't see him for the rest of the season. And so, with that, you have to really believe that the Dolphins have the edge because Tua's not injured and he has actually played well at times. Now, he's looked overmatched at times. And when he's looked overmatched or been overmatched, the Dolphins have had they've had the ability to reach back and grab Fitzpatrick and put Fitzpatrick out there. And he's always ready to go. He's probably the best backup quarterback in the NFL. So, yeah, I mean, I think you really gotta believe that the Dolphins have the edge there. That they do have an all-around better team, and their coach is great. Will the Jets win a game this season? I don't think the Jets will win a game this season. I doubt it. I think there were a couple of teams maybe that they played in the past that they had a chance to beat, or that on paper you would think they might have beaten. But if you look at their schedule from here on out, there aren't a lot of teams that you would think even have a chance of beating the Jets beating them. So I think I think you're looking at an 0-16 season for the Jets. That's just what personally I believe, and also I have a friend of mine who from college who is a diehard Jets fan, and he believes that the Jets are also going to go 0-16. So there is that. You got the Jags at the Vikings. Now, the Jags, they're not so great. They've jettisoned some good players right before the season started and over the last season or season and a half or so that they had. And they've had issues with their quarterback play. So they're not doing very well. But the Vikings are the ultimate Jekyll and Hyde team. You just don't know what to expect from the Vikings. They lose to teams that they should beat, and they beat teams sometimes that they should lose to, and they play close games that they get involved with that they maybe even shouldn't have been that close of a game. Last week, they won because they kicked a field goal and went ahead by 1 point with the field goal. And then the team, and I forget who they played last week, but the team that they were playing got to the Vikings 36, and they tried a field goal, and it went wide left. And if that had been good, which, 36, from the 36, that's not a gimme, a field goal like that. But you hope. Michael Terranova says, I'm so happy. I hope they move out of town one day. You mean the Jets? You want the Jets to move out of town? I don't know where they would go, but that would be interesting to see. But the Panthers. Okay. But the Vikings, yeah, I don't know what to think of the Vikings. So, will they beat the Jaguars? I guess we'll find out when we watch football tomorrow. But it'll be interesting. Colts and the Texans. Now the Colts supposedly have this great defense, but I saw them play. I forget who it was against. Maybe Dallas. Maybe it was I forget what game I was watching, but their defense really did not look that impressive to me. But against the Texans really just have their quarterback, and that's it. a story about a friend of yours from college that is a Browns fan, but I knew you wouldn't believe a Browns fan went to college. Yeah, that's a good one. In fact, my brother told me a story one time where they were sitting around his office and they were talking some baseball. And one guy was reading the paper. The other two guys are talking back and forth, and one guy's reading the paper. And these guys are talking about baseball, and one of them says, well, my favorite team is the Pittsburgh Pirates. And from behind the paper, the guy reading the paper says, you don't like the Pirates. Like, that would be impossible. Yeah, the Colts, I'm hoping that the Colts win because I picked the Colts to win the game. Like I said, they've really just got their quarterback because they took their best receiver and traded him to Buffalo. I think they traded him to Buffalo. And how Rivers plays through the injury. I didn't know that Rivers was injured. I didn't realize he'd gotten injured. So, yeah, that's going to be. But, even they have, like, their backup quarterback was a guy that was played for a year for him, like, as the starter. Now they use him, like, as a wildcat type guy, for the wildcat. He takes the snap and runs the ball. And I never really saw the point of that type of running that type of play. Like, when you do a wildcat and the wildcat quarterback comes in, he almost always runs the ball. He takes the snap and runs the ball. So I don't know what's the deception there. The defense knows, okay, the quarterback's going to take it. Quarterback's going to take the snap and then he's going to run the ball. I don't know if there's like a run pass option with that, but Koala Dude. All right, so Koala Dude has joined us. Nice to see. It's nice to see everybody joining the chat. And for some of you that just joined a little later, I want to just let you know this is the first time I've ever done this. This is the first live chat that I've done, so I just wanted to make sure that that this works and that the streaming software that I'm using Streamlabs OBS. Just wanted to make sure that it works and that apparently it works fine, and that's awesome. So the Texans. Well, really, either one of those teams could win, and especially in the NFL this year, with all the ravages that the virus has done and the injuries that have happened, and with guys opting out even before the season started. How do you feel Abreu winning the 2020 AL MVP for the Cy? That was great. I love that Abreu won the AL MVP. He certainly deserved it. There were a lot of guys that were right there. I think Vogt for the Yankees, he had maybe the most home runs. But I think overall, Abreu was better than him, and I think he certainly was deserving of it. And I think Lewis Robert was deserving of getting the Gold Glove too for the White Sox. So it was nice to see them win some awards. It was also nice to see them have an over 500 record for the first time in a few years. StreamYard is more user-friendly, but OBS can do more. Yeah, I'm sure it can. There was a lot. I was watching a video on how to use Streamlabs OBS, and I was watching the video, and the guy just was going on, and I had to pick and choose certain things that I wanted to use just for the, just for like getting started. Because I'm sure as time goes on, there's going to be other things that I use that this streaming software can do but for the purposes of just starting out, this is how I wanted to do it. How far back do I go with the White Sox? Well, I go back. Let's see, probably to high school. I want to say high school. I mean, there were times where I would, drift in and out like other teams, but I liked the White Sox in high school, and then, and I never really stopped liking them. But now, yeah, I mean, lately, for the last probably 15 years, I've been really a diehard Sox fan. So, suffered through a lot of those losing seasons. Yeah, just have to mess around. That's how it is with, and that's how I learn best when I use these things, is to just keep playing with them, using them, maybe watch a video. Although I did have to, there were certain things the guy was doing, and I hate this when people try to explain something on YouTube and they kind of like just zoom right through it. They do now you do this, you hit this, and you go to here, and you're like, you got to keep rewinding it, see what he clicked on. Yeah, I go back to Jerry Dibzinski, believe me. Jerry Dibzinski, yes, who I think La Russa put him up to pinch hit in the ALCS against the Orioles. And when you're pinch hitting Jerry Dibzinski against the Orioles in the ALCS, let's hope that the new and hopefully improved Tony La Russa is smarter than that. La Russa's first tenure, yeah. So anyway, getting back to the football, but yeah, it's nice to see that I got this streaming software that's working, and it's working great. And so now I'll be streaming more, because everybody was telling me, hey, you know what you need to do? You need to get on and you need to do live streams. And I was always hesitant to do it. I was like, I like making videos because I make the video, I can edit it, I can take stuff out, put something in, put in snippets, that kind of thing. And then the video is the finished product. It's what I want. And then I can just put it up when I'm happy with it. So I was always a little nervous about doing the live streams, but it's nice that I finally decided. Where were you born and raised? I thought you said Maryland. Yeah, right now I live in Maryland currently, but I was born and raised in upstate New York, near Binghamton, in a small town named Vestal, New York, and that's where I spent most of my youth. I was born in Syracuse, but lived most of my life in Vestal. So, and then I got a job working for the U.S. government down here in the D.C. area, and so that's basically why I live in Maryland right now. You'd love to see the Mets make a trade for Hader. Yeah, well, I'd love to see the White Sox make a trade for Hader. I think the White Sox need bullpen help. That would be good to get some bullpen help for them, and maybe another starter, because now they non-tendered Rodon, so they don't have Rodon anymore to lean on, and that could cause, I don't want to say it really could cause some problems, because Rodon really has never fulfilled his full potential, or at least what it looks like his potential could be. But you have to wonder if Michael Kopech is going to come back. Now, the new pitching coach for the White Sox, Evan Katz, has apparently contacted Kopech, and he's talking to him about a workout program for the off season, that type thing. So, if that's true, then hopefully Kopech does come back next year, and then you would have. And right now they're working on a contract with Giolito, so I'm assuming you would have Giolito, you would have Keuchel, you would have Kopech. No, I'm not a federal agent. No. No, I work in contracts, which is extremely boring. Don't really like it at all, but it puts food on the table. So, so let's talk a little bit more about some of these football matchups on Sunday. Of course, though, if you have any questions, and I see the questions, I'm always happy to answer them until the stream is over, which I don't even know when that's going to be. But we got another game now. The Raiders Jets. There you go. The Raiders Jets. See, another team that there's no way the Jets are going to beat the Raiders. I mean, there's just no way. I think the Raiders could be playing at probably 50% efficiency and probably beat the Jets. So, like I always say in my videos, the Jets are like my lock of the week whenever they play. Almost always going to pick against them. I did pick them to win a game this year, and they came very close. It was an extremely close game. I forget who they were playing, and I just had the impression that if they were going to win a game, it was going to be this game. And they almost did, but not quite. They fell a little short. The Giants and the Seahawks. The Giants and the Seahawks. So you got the Seahawks with the high-powered offense and the terrible defense. You got the Giants, I guess, are not going to have their starting quarterback, so that's going to be an issue for them. All right, there we go. People will switch over to Heidi during that game. Yes. Yes, exactly. The Raiders and the Jets, the Heidi game. That was awesome. So anyway, let's see. Raiders laid an absolute egg against Atlanta, but they will beat the Jets. Yes, I mean, obviously that's going to happen. So the Seahawks, Giants, the Seahawks have supposedly they have a high-powered offense, but they only scored 24 points against the Philadelphia Eagles last week. So that is a bit of an issue, you would have to think. And so we'll see what happens there. But the Giants don't even have Daniel Jones, I don't think. And if they don't have Daniel Jones, then, I mean, it's really all hope is lost, I think, for the Giants to potentially beat the Seahawks, even if they have a decent defense, which I get the sense that they do. Certainly not an overpowering defense, but a decent one. Rams, Cardinals. The Rams are another one. They're another like Jekyll and Hyde. Eagles front seven is fantastic. Yeah, well, all right. Jeremy Brooks is on. Let's see, who else? Westchester University Athletics. Nice to see everybody come out tonight for the chat. But yeah, the Rams, I can't figure the Rams out. One week they look like they're world beaters, and then the next week they look absolutely horrible. And it doesn't even have to be against a good team. And linebackers are trash on the Eagles. I don't know that much about the Eagles, so I can't say whether that's true or not. But but yeah, the Rams. I hate picking the Rams, and the Cardinals are. I said in my preseason video that the Cardinals are an up-and-coming football team, but I think they're already pretty much here. They've already knocked in the door, and they're sitting in your living room. But they have had some games that they should have won that they didn't. And you'll take the Rams, but won't be surprised if the Cards win. Well, yeah. And actually, I believe in that game, I did take the Cardinals to win the game because the Rams, like I said, they're so inconsistent. You just can't rely on them. And, Kyler Murray is another guy who last year when he was a rookie, he was good. I mean, he was good for a rookie that was just playing his first year in the NFL, but now he's really spectacular. So let's move on to the Patriots Chargers. The Patriots are just a shell of the team that they were. Now, a lot of people are debating whether the Patriots are not the same team because they lost Brady. But I don't think that's it. I think even if they still had Brady, they would still have issues because the rest of the team has just been watered down to the point where it's just not the dominant team that you're used to seeing when you're talking about the Patriots. So I don't think that Brady would have made that much of a difference. And you can see that even though Brady wins his share of games with the Buccaneers, he also loses games that he shouldn't lose. He lost to the hey, all right, World Traveler's joining us. Nice. But he lost to the Bears because he didn't know what down it was, or at least apparently he lost to the Bears because he didn't know what down it was. But he's had his issues even in Tampa Bay. So I don't think, I want to say that the two of them together, Belichick and Brady, were a great combination. But they also had personnel around Brady, and they had defensive schemes that worked well, but then they lost their defensive coordinator to the head coaching job for the Lions, and now the Lions have already fired him. And and then Brady left, and even some of the guys that Brady used to pass to, all of their like slot receivers and guys that would go underneath, some of those guys have gone on to other teams too. So I think the Patriots are just a shell of the team that they used to be. The Chargers are an exciting team. Herbert makes them a nice, young, exciting team. They are electric on offense, and their defense isn't terrible. So you got that. Broncos, Chiefs, the Chiefs. The Chiefs are going to probably win that game handily. Steelers fan is going to root for the Chargers, but pick the Patriots to win. And World Traveler says, I'm a baseball girl, but I wanted to say a quick hello. Hey, yeah, thanks for stopping in. And I can do a chat sometime. We'll talk about baseball too. Like I said, I was just throwing this up because I wanted to see if it would work and how well it would work, because this is the first time I've ever done a live stream. So want to make sure that, this is great. And it's awesome that it works exactly the way that I want it to work, which I think is cool. And, so now we're going to be in business, and now I can do this from time to time. Because like I said, I've heard from a lot of people that if you're going to have a channel, eventually you got to do live streaming. You got to start doing live streams. So here I am doing it. I'm still going to throw my videos up, but yeah, the live stream thing, I'll have to prepare some more, some definite material in the future and be doing it. But this was mainly just a test. This was kind of like a test run. And I'm glad that it's coming out well. So, and thanks for the compliment, Michael. Let's see, what do we got? The Washington football team against Pittsburgh. And now again, it's the Washington football team against the undefeated Pittsburgh Steelers. And much like the Bears early in the season when the Bears were 5-1, I don't get me wrong, I think the Steelers are a really good football team, but I don't think they're an undefeated football team. I mean, they are technically undefeated, but I don't think that they're as good as that record is showing. And I think that there were games they definitely could have lost. They were they were lucky in a couple of games. I don't know if they'll go undefeated. They've got I think they've still got a couple of tough opponents ahead. So, yeah, there we go. Here we go, Steelers. That's right. But this week, yeah, against the Washington football team, I don't see a problem there. But we'll see. We'll see if they go undefeated. It would be cool if they went undefeated. It's always nice to see something that's really out of the norm, like a team that never wins a game the entire season, or a team that goes undefeated. But of course, if you want to be mentioned in the same name as I think it was the 1972 Dolphins, you've got to go undefeated for the season, then you got to go undefeated in the playoffs, and then you got to win the Super Bowl. So, what does Mrs. Z think of this? You know what? She's all for me doing the channel, but yeah, she would probably like it if I would spend a little bit more time with her. But right now she's doing some cleaning, so we'll see. Every once in a while I get a mention about how I'm always downstairs recording videos or whatever for the channel, but she is more. I think she is more accepting of it than some wives would be. So, the Bills 49ers. Who's got some ideas on that game? I took the Bills, I believe, in that one. But, so educate me, you can't live stream with YouTube without I think you can live stream just on YouTube. It does have the ability to do that, and for whatever reason, I just never did it. I just never decided to click that button and do a live stream directly just with the YouTube live stream, whatever you want to say, software or ability. And then today I was looking around, I was, looking at some of the YouTube help videos, and they mentioned Streamlabs OBS, and they mentioned some of the stuff that it can do, and that it can live stream, even like supposedly this can live stream if I had wanted to. I'm only doing it on my YouTube channel, but supposedly it can do it consecutively, like on YouTube and Facebook and some of the other ones that they have where you can live stream, and it can do it at the same time on multiple platforms. At least that's what it sounded like to me, but I don't need it to do that. I just need it to do it for YouTube, and so I connected it to YouTube. So yeah, Bills 49ers. The 49ers have been playing really good football lately, which is really strange because they still have injuries, I think, to key personnel. So it is odd that they're all of a sudden they're playing great football. But they're in a tough division. They got the Rams, they've got the Seahawks in their division, they got the Cardinals in their division. So it's tough for them, and they lost a lot of games early because they had injuries and underperformance from some players at some times. So that made it tough. And against the Bills, of course, the Bills, good young up-and-coming team, probably going to win the AFC East. I don't think I'm going out on a limb saying that. And then, of course, and the Washington game and the Bills 49ers game are both going to be on Monday night because the NFL had to switch all their their games around because of the COVID outbreak with the Baltimore Ravens. So there's going to be 2 games Monday night, and then Tuesday night you're going to have the Cowboys Ravens. I picked the Ravens in that game, but the Cowboys are another team that, they've had a couple of games lately where they've looked better than they have for most of the season. And I wouldn't be surprised if they actually beat the Ravens, because the Ravens also have either played down to their competition or just not looked like you would expect the Ravens to look based on how they did, last year. Last year they were a dominant team. How am I doing with the Generals? Hey, the Generals, let me tell you, they were 3-1, and I taped the next game in their season. It's already done, and it's going up tomorrow at noon. So if you are following the Generals season, check it out. We play the 1968 Patriots, Boston Patriots. And that game will be going up at noon tomorrow. And we're coming into the game, like I said, 3-1, winning our division and only giving up an average, I think, of 11 points coming into that game. We're only giving up an average of 11 points per game. And I will be doing a stat video on that probably sometime this week, where I go over the statistics for the Generals, the league in general, the standings and everything. And just to recap where we are, let everybody know. But that game, if you are following that season, definitely check it out, going up at noon tomorrow. So I think that's going to be a wrap for me tonight. I just wanted to talk about some of the football games, get out here, test this software, test my streaming ability. And so now that I know that I can do this and that it works as well as it does, I guess you can look for Sportsman Z to be doing some more streaming in the future. But I think for right now, I'm going to sign off, and I'm going to say goodnight to everybody. And it's been great. I